Ukraine is facing a mental health crisis as men return from war and women suffer the consequences. After almost 19 months of all-out struggle, Ukrainian women face an increased risk of domestic violence resulting from war-related stress disorders in men. This is a common but often overlooked impact of war, and there is increasing pressure for action. In the first 5 months of 2023, police recorded nearly 160,000 more cases of domestic violence, a 54% increase compared to the same period in 2021. Campaigners say the real number is much higher as many cases go unreported. While cases of domestic violence are nowhere near an epidemic in Russia, where a fifth of women are assaulted and the victim must be hospitalized before being considered a possible crime, Ukrainian civil society is scrambling to provide support and shelter, counseling for victims and other interventions to stop potential perpetrators. Things got worse in Russian-occupied territories, where Ukrainian women were subjected to a horrific wave of sexual violence as a deliberate war tactic. While Russian atrocities in towns like Bucha are well remembered, sexual violence is less discussed. Following the outbreak of all-out war last year, Pramila Patten, the UN Secretary-General's Special Representative on Sexual Violence in Conflict, said, "The needs of women and girls in conflict settings are too often set aside and treated as an afterthought." According office the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, gender-based violence tends worsen in times of war, largely due lack access basic services and war-related stress among population. Soldiers are particularly at risk of developing post-traumatic stress disorder, which sometimes manifests as verbal and physical violence against their partners. In 6 field missions carried out in Ukrainian-controlled parts Luhansk and Donetsk oblasts after start the 2014 war, Amnesty International found that 1127 recorded cases domestic violence were committed by members. Military shelters and crisis centers provide victims with accommodation, psychological assistance, and legal services. In June, the United Nations Population Fund supported the opening a psychological assistance day care center for survivors of gender-based violence in Ternopil, Western Ukraine. As part its support program, human rights NGOs such as Strada Ukraine and Rozirvy Kolo also provide free anonymous hotlines to help prevent domestic violence. But demand for help far exceeds supply. The Kiev government is taking steps to combat the epidemic and ratified the Istanbul Convention in July 2022, a 2014 Council of Europe agreement that requires legal and institutional changes to protect women. The Kremlin rejected the contract. The agreement includes commitments to take action on prevention, protection, prosecution, and offers Ukraine the opportunity to strengthen its cohesion with Western Europe by working reduce inequality violence. Crucial to this work will be hell.